What do you do when your prayer is really a matter of life and death, and it doesn't seem that God is even listening? Coming up next on Pastor Bob's Coffee Break. I have been forgiven. It's one of our old ones, and I'm going to talk about this today. And here's the question, dear Pastor Bob. I've definitely not been the best Christian, and I've made more than my fair share of mistakes. Done them all in my youth, all ungodly and evil things a man can do. My fiancee was sick. She was fighting for her life. I prayed every single night. I got the church to pray, everyone I knew to pray, and it was starting to look hopeful. But she died anyway. I didn't even get to say goodbye. I'm crying and I can't stop. I feel that God didn't listen to my prayers because of my evil past, or maybe he has truly abandoned me. Why would God allow her to die? She was my soulmate. I'm so scared and anxious and lost and empty. I feel like the only grace for me now is drugs, alcohol, or the grave. I'm begging you to please help me. You know, it makes me so sad, and I can't imagine the pain that this person is going through. And thank you for writing, by the way. And I'm happy to help. I don't have any magic words that are going to make your pain go away. This is a horrible thing. I can't imagine. But I want to add some clarity, and I want to add some biblical precedents to this. Now, you know, there are churches that believe that once you speak it, God needs to answer it. And that what you tell God to do, he needs to do. You know, believe it, and then speak it, and then receive it. And that's actually not biblical. I know. It'd be nice if it was. Well, maybe not. Yeah. You know, I can either have faith in my faith, if I pray enough, if I do enough, if I'm good enough, then God will act. But you see, he didn't tell me to have faith in my faith. My faith isn't worth anything. He said to have faith in the object of my faith. That's Jesus Christ. And he is still the answer here as well. You know, here's something that Jesus said, and I want to go here for just a minute in Matthew chapter 11 and verses 28 through 30. Then Jesus said, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." Now, this is for my friend who wrote this, and this is so hard to hear because he says, "Come to me," and it's difficult because you may be angry with him. Why didn't you answer my prayers? Why are you telling me to come to you when I don't like you very much right now? Well, yeah. Those are human emotions. And then he says in verse 29, "Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light." Now, it doesn't mean that it's no burden. It just means it's a lighter burden. And it's a lighter burden because you understand it a little more. You feel the comfort of it, and you put everything in perspective. There are a lot of people who believe and teach that if you pray for something fervently enough, that God will answer it. That if you get a lot of people praying for it, that you have much more of a chance of God doing something about it, that almost strength in numbers. And yet that principle is not there. There's safety in numbers, there's wisdom in numbers, But forcing God to answer a prayer because you prayed in numbers, well, that precedent isn't there. And, there are times when I've prayed for something and my health in the last few months, God, just heal this. It would be so easy for you. Why wouldn't you do that? And you didn't. And I'm getting there. I'm slowly but surely climbing out of the rut. But my dad died in February. We prayed too that he would live. So what do you do with these kinds of things? Well, there's one thing that is inevitable: death. It comes to everybody. With some people, it comes way too soon, and with others, it seems like, they almost live forever. And what's the difference? When I was younger, my sister, who was just about 16 months younger than me, died. She was 7 years old. It was horrible. I remember it like it was yesterday, and it was a long time ago. And she died way too soon. Way, way, way too soon. And she was awesome. You think back and you can't remember really much that she ever did wrong. My mom always said she was an angel. But then here we are in older age. My mom is 90. I'm 68. And we lived way past that time. Why did she die young and we're still all around? Those are really good questions, and I understand them. And you could say, well, God, why didn't you answer this prayer? Why doesn't everybody live to a ripe old age? And when I pray for something, why didn't you just answer that? God's ways are not my ways. I don't have his wisdom. I don't know why he does some of the things that he does and makes some of the decisions, and we may never know those things. And people make up all things too, to try to make them feel better. She was wonderful. God wanted her in heaven. He wanted to spend more time with her. That's comforting, but not real biblical. I don't know the answer to why. I just know that I can trust God. That death happens, life happens, death happens. And there are difficult times in life that are tough to get through. We've all had the heartache where we felt like we just wanted to die or get drunk or do drugs or something. We've all hurt that much to the place where, we just want to medicate or we just want to disappear. And yet, Jesus says, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy, heavy burdens. And he says, I will give you rest. It's a promise. So, to my friend that wrote this, I really am very sorry for you. And I'm so sorry that you went through this, but you've been forgiven. You have been forgiven. That's where you stand with forgiveness. God doesn't hold your past against you by any means. In fact, the Bible says that he's forgotten about those sins when he forgave them. They are buried as far as the east is from the west. They're not going to find them again. They're gone. And he forgets that he forgets. There's no record. There's no recollection. They're gone. So to tie them with anything that God is going to do in your present or your future, not going to happen. He sees you as a dearly loved child, and he sees you through Jesus Christ. Perfection. So when he sees you, he loves you. When he sees you, he cares for you. And when he sees you, he wants the best for you. You say, well, how can this be the best? This is a person I loved and was planning the rest of my life with, and I don't have that answer. All I know is that after 60 3 years of being a Christian, I've learned to trust him, and I've learned that he does have the best for me, even those times that are difficult. So, once again, I'm sorry you've gone through this. I'm sorry that this is a difficult time for you. And I'll be praying for you, as I know that a lot of these folks will too, that God would strengthen you, that you'd find him as a friend. And don't forget, Jesus says, come to me, you who are weary, carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Well, don't forget, folks, that you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.